Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. We're going to tag team a little bit, so Al's going to come in with some more specific information as we run through the video. So let's get started. We're now in Canada, so we're going to be looking at the Timmins operation. We're 560 kilometers north in Timmins. Specifically, we're in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, so stretched across Quebec and Ontario. And really the takeaway from this slide specifically, don't be scared of all the colors, is the black porcupine desta, which is the big structural control, which comes across 400 kilometers. And that's where all the main gold deposits sit along this regional structural control. And Timmins was sitting right over here on the western edge. That's produced around 80 million ounces, the Timmins camp alone, over 300 million ounces coming from the Abitibi so far. So we're going to zoom into Timmins specifically, talking more about where we sit, Pan American, and the major deposits within the Timmins camp, Hoyle, McIntyre Dome, Parmore, Bell Creek sitting over there, and Timmins West down here. Obviously, we came out today with the press release on the exploration potential. We're going to be looking at some of those projects which all fit into this larger idea that we have now for Timmins. And Al is going to also pitch in with some of those details. So Timmins, right in the middle, you've got Bell Creek, which is the main center where our processing plant is, and we ship all our ore from Timmins across and up into Bell Creek. So looking very quickly at the reserve, the reserve at Timmins, we're sitting currently at 850,000 ounces. We've maintained that over certainly since we've had the project in 2019 through the purchase of Tahoe, and really maintaining that with constant drilling. And obviously the press release today talked about the deep drilling that we're doing at Bell Creek, which is a mature deposit, let's face it. So really good success there. And we continue to drill and got 120,000 meters to drill over this year in the mine and the projects themselves. So here we are zooming in. We've got the tailings over there on the left-hand side, Bell Creek mine, the processing plant there. And now we're going to strip that away and look at where the actual Bell Creek, which is an orogenic gold deposit. Now, orogenic gold deposits, they need structure, which we've got the porcupine desta. That's the main control on this. You need that fluid way for all those fluids to come up from this bigger tectonic events. And you need rock, you need the right rock type. So these are all being cooked, they're metamorphic. And also very characteristic of these orogenic is they're very deep. Generally, they're 2 kilometers plus. And if you can now look from that recent drilling that we released today, we're talking about 2.6 kilometers down. We're around our current resource and reserve sits at around the 1925, and now we're down to 2,600, another 700 meters of mineralization, which we've now been able to define, put in that deep drilling. I mean, almost 17,000 meters specifically on just that really deep stuff. And being able to release today. We're just going to zoom in there and show you some of those drill results. Sort of 19 meters at 3 grams a ton gold, 6 meters at 3.5, 4 meters at 5.65 grams a ton gold. So yeah, some good information for us to then make that decision that we want to deepen that ramp. So that's certainly been going on since 2023. So that, nearly 50,000 meters in the whole project totally.
Good. So yeah, I'll elaborate a little bit on the Bell Creek shaft extension. So just a bit of background. 2020, 2021, as the resources were getting deeper and deeper, we kind of realized that the current infrastructure that we have, which the shaft goes down to 1080 level, would be a constraint. The haul distance would be quite far to get to below 2,000. So, as Chris explained, to justify any shaft, we would need to demonstrate that the resource would continue at depth, which with the success that we've seen with the exploration. We kind of show that. And based on that success, in May on 6th, the board did approve the shaft extension. It will be a 625-meter extension of the shaft, which will bring the shaft down from 1080 down to the 1705 level. And we will talk about that in more details in the slide deck to follow in a few minutes.
So also in the press release today, we came out with one of the so-called satellite deposits, which was the Vogel. Vogel veins, should we call them, sit over here, close to the current infrastructure of the Bell Creek. This was explored in 1968, actually. It was found in 1968. Several of the companies in the history drilled it, bits here and there. Currently on the resource reserve book, we have 60,000 ounces in indicated, with around 130,000 ounces of gold inferred. So, sitting here, we already have an inventory of potential ore. And from that, we came in again around 2023 and started to drill some holes and really showed we had good continuity. We had better grade than we actually thought was going to be there. And now this appears to be a set of veins which we believe there's more potential at depth. Some really good grades here, looking at nearly 20 meters at 8 grams, certainly 12 meters. We've got 9 meters at 8 grams, 8.73 grams a ton gold. So some really, really nice intercepts with good gold grade.
And I'll talk about the plan for 2026. So we started drilling on surface in 2025. In April of this year, 2026, we will be extending the current drift on 610 at Bell Creek, which is an exploration drift. So we'll start extending that. It's an 814-meter extension. What this will do is it will allow us to drill the deeper part of the Vogel from underground. It's getting too deep to drill from surface. So by having that underground exploration drift will allow us to basically infill the lower part of the Vogel. And that's shown in the green lines there. That would be the drilling over for the rest of this year and into 2027. And the green lines from surface is the completion of the surface exploration program that's planned for the rest of this year. So that's essentially going to be 2026 and into 2027. We should have the infill drilling program pretty much complete in the next year and a half to 2 years.
It's probably worth mentioning that exploration access drift will also help the production in the future.
Yeah.
So we're gonna flip across, go southwest of Timmins, sitting in the center there. We're now going to be in the Timmins mine area where we've got a large, a good package, 14,000 hectares. And the Timmins mine is really a success of discoveries, multi-different deposits on a structural trend, the 144. We're going to strip away the surface here and have a look at those deposits which have been constantly being found as they've moved southwest. And again, in the release today, we were talking about Samson, which was discovered a few decades ago, had a lot of drilling, nearly 60,000 meters of drilling on it. It was called the 144 South. And it was, while lower grade, it's still going to add 120,000 ounces of gold. And hopefully we'll be building that out in the future. We do have an access exploration gallery here, drift, and again, the green line showing the potential drilling that's going to happen over the next 6 months to a year as we build it out. And also that exploration gallery will give access for production as well.
All right, and last but not least, Gold River. So Gold River sits about 3.5 kilometers to the south of Timmins West. It's a 1,100 hectare parcel. So Gold River has two main deposits. the Gold River West on the right side, and the Gold River East, that's where most of the 1.1 million ounce of resource sits. So the Gold River is a refractory deposit. We are doing some mine design work, as you can see there in blue. That's the mine design work, and we're also starting to do milling studies. We actually started that in 2025 to get some metro report so that we can have a better understanding of Gold River. And the mine design work that we'll talk about the milling and the mining design work a little bit more with when Eric joins me in a minute. But this is to support a refreshed resource estimation coming into the 2026 mid-year.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, so again, it was in the resource, sitting there over 1 million ounces of inferred. With the current environment, yeah, we're finding additional value within the portfolio and really build to that Timmins camp strategy as such. So yeah, as Al was saying, there's a mine design. We're building towards that resource for the mid-year 26, and certainly good things to come from that project, which again was in the release with some additional results from the previous company. We're now going to shoot back across to Bell Creek. We're going to have a look at the Whitney project, which again has been in some of our press releases over the last several years in the exploration updates on a yearly basis. Whitney is a joint venture. We have 86% of this. It's right on strike from Parmore, which sits over to the east. So again, we're on the structural trend, which has controlled all of these different deposits, from Bruland to Bonwit to Holnor. And don't forget, Holnor mine was historically one of the highest grade gold mines in the Timmins camp itself. Just doing a little 360 there. We're going to show the old workings. And I mean, this produced nearly 2.6 million ounces of gold at around 10 grams a ton. You can see here those old workings sitting deep. But really, our focus of our exploration has been on the top portion. We've drilled and have been drilling Holnor, and now we've moved across into Bruland. We're finding within those old stopes in the hanging and footwall, there's obviously remnant gold that wasn't mined because it was deemed low grade in that particular point. So it's really been the idea has been going in and drilling and updating the current resource, which sits at around 500,000 ounces of gold as it is. So certainly, Bruland is, we released this in December 25, and some of the results here, I mean, you're looking at 2.9 at 36 grams gold, certainly 3 meters at 11 grams gold, certainly very good grades, which shows you this historic area has still got mineralization. So we're looking forwards to building out, doing additional work. We've got a program to drill this towards the back end of 26 and into 27 really, as we're focused more on our current projects of Vogel, which is obviously very close to our current infrastructure. That's the plan as mentioned. And I think that's over to you, Al, and the more technical side.
Yep. So as soon as the video finishes up, we'll start with the slide deck next. And I'll welcome Eric Lachapelle. He's Director of Operations for Timmins Operations. So, yes, okay. So yeah, just to reset things here. Timmins West Operations, that's Timmins West Complex. That's on the southwest. It's about 20 kilometers southwest of the city of Timmins. You can kind of see the city of Timmins sits almost in the middle of both operations. And then we have our Bell Creek Mine Complex and Mill Complex on the top right side of things. So right now, all the ore from Timmins West gets trucked through the city of Timmins, about 42 kilometers to our Bell Creek Mine and Mill. And we will talk about a few projects that we have, one being a new haul road that will be very beneficial, not only on the cost side of things, but also on a safety side of things, because it does bypass some of the city. So I'll turn it over to Eric.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Kicking off with the Bell Creek shaft. So at Bell Creek, our current mining centroid is 300 meters below the existing shaft. And that centroid continues to deepen as we progress with mining. This stretches our capacity to deliver the ore to surface for the mine. With the approval of the shaft extension, we will be deepening to a final shaft depth of 1,705 meters from the original current 1080 level. This will be resulting in an additional 625 meters of the shaft's total depth. This will help to reduce operating costs by reducing the trucking requirements for the mucked ore. It will also help extend the life of the mine by allowing access to deeper resources. It helps as well to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by consuming less diesel overall for the hauling. The timeline on the bottom left shows how the diamond drilling, the geological modeling, the mine design, as well as the shaft engineering work has all been completed for this project. Now the construction and development work will begin, with the commissioning targeted for 2029. Speaking to the challenge of ground stability at Bell Creek, many measures have been taken to address these, as we have experienced some challenging conditions at the mine. Paste backfill is now fully integrated into the mining process. This is allowing us to re-access certain areas of the mine, including the central zone, which we have now reintegrated into the mining plan. Specialized ITH drills, borehole stabilizer products, enhanced stress modeling are all measures that have been taken to tackle these challenges at Bell Creek. Moving on to our soon-to-be completed haul road. With the goal of reducing costs for every ton of ore that comes or that is hauled to the mill from Timmins West, we reduce 14 kilometers for every round trip for the trucks hauling to Bell Creek. We also bypass areas of the city of Timmins, reducing the strain on the city's infrastructure and improving overall safety. Also shown here, besides the haul road, you see our tailings facility, just middle section to the east. The current life of our tailings facility carries us to 2035, and we have acquired adjacent land for other expansion potential of the tailings facility. Gold River, as mentioned, is located 4 kilometers south of the Timmins West shaft. We advanced metallurgical testing and engineering studies for processing the refractory material at Gold River. We've completed scoping level assessments on flotation, pressure oxidation, additions to the existing Bell Creek processing circuit. Here at the bottom of the slide, you see the plan view of the Gold River mine design as it sits today. Now it's flipping to our long section. Down below, we see the planned timeline for the development of the Gold River project. In 2026 and 2027, we're focusing on the PEA work for Gold River, as well as infill drilling. which carries us to 2028 and 2029, where we'll be focusing more on permitting towards achieving a bulk sample in 2029. Readying us for production with a target date of the 2030s. Mill capacity at Bell Creek. As you can see from this graph here, we do have a gap from our total milling capacity of 5,600 tons per day from what is currently being fed from both of our mines. We're looking to shorten that gap with the addition of all the satellite deposits that we've been discussing in this presentation, as well as continuing to extend the life and the reserves of the existing deposits. We're also looking at toll milling potential for our neighboring deposits within the Timmins camp area.
All right. So I think the main story here is that when Pan American acquired Tahoe, acquired the Timmins operations, when Pan American acquired Tahoe and Timmins operations in 2019, we were actually supposed to be closing this year. As you can kind of see with the long-term vision in the project pipeline, where we have reserves being mined into the 2030s, the Bell Creek Deep extension, you can kind of see they're kicking in into the 2040s. We have Vogel that's coming in, again, basically on top of the Bell Creek. Gold River, Samson, these are all projects that are right there in front of us that will be allowing us to go into the 2040s. So not a bad story, right? Going from 2026 to 2040s, that's basically the Timmins operations story. So.